Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited that you're joining me today. If you're new here and we've never met, my name is Katelyn. I am married with 3 beautiful little girls and I absolutely love to craft and make DIY home decor. So if you enjoy DIY videos and crafting yourself, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up if you find it helpful. Now let's get on into the video. Before we start today's project, I do want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community that is perfect if you are wanting to fuel your creativity or curiosity. They have over 25,000 classes available on Skillshare. They offer anything from art classes, business classes, design. I personally love the art classes. I've actually taken several myself in calligraphy and hand lettering. I know I've mentioned that several times on my channel, but I think it's just so much fun getting to advance and take classes on things that you already like hobbies, or if you want to try something new, they definitely have tons of classes on anything that you're wanting to learn. So for less than $10 a month annually, you can join over 7 million people that are learning on Skillshare, whether that's to brush up on things on a hobby or learn new things to advance your career. It is very simple to follow along. They break each class down into several little videos so you can follow along with your teacher and definitely take these classes at your own pace. My subscribers that go and click the link down below will receive 2 months free of Skillshare, so definitely go and try it out. Like I say, I've used them myself personally and I do enjoy taking their classes. So go click that link down below and make sure that you do sign up. And once again, I want to give Skillshare a huge thank you for sponsoring today's video. So now let's get on into crafting. I'm so excited with how today's project turned out, so stay tuned so you can make one for your home. So for today's project, I'm going to be using 4 of these small little fall wooden wall pieces. I know they're not like real wood, but I really enjoy using these pieces rather than the foam board. I just picked up a variety of these. I know some of these they even had last year. But I'm just going to go ahead and start by removing all of the tags and the hangers so that I can put these together. Because I try to make very simple DIY videos, I just choose to make things or use items that are easily accessible to all of my subscribers. I get some comments that are always saying, why didn't you just use real wood? And that is honestly always an option. So even if you go to your local Home Depot or Lowe's, you can just pick up a pre-cut square piece of wood that they do have and they sell as is. So that is another option if you do want to go do that, and personally that's probably what I would have done if it wasn't for being trying to make these easy for my subscribers to make. So the first thing that I'm going to do is lay out all of my signs how I like them, and then I flip them over and I'm going to attach them together using these large popsicle sticks. I pick up these jumbo packs from Walmart. They're really inexpensive. I think they're just a couple of dollars, and this just gives it a lot of support, so I went ahead and added several of these, and I try to add them both directions, and I just wanted to try to make sure that that middle little area where all of them come together does have the solid piece of popsicle stick, so I did put one directly in the center. I am going to be using hot glue to attach all of these together, and I'm just trying to make sure that I do kind of run it along the seams of the signs or where they meet so that they are really snug and tight together. And then like I say, I'm going to add hot glue onto the back of these popsicle sticks and then push them down really tightly so everything will be secure.
So call me up, baby. Together we can go crazy. You and me in the night. I'm feeling alright. Now I got you and I want. So call me up, baby. Together we can go crazy. You and me in the night. I'm feeling alright. Now I got you and I want more.
So after I made sure that everything was nice and tight and really secure, I wanted to build up the corners of this sign because I do want to hide all of the backing with a piece of my brown craft paper from Dollar Tree, and I just needed to build up the corners so that everything will be nice and even whenever I do get it glued down.
You're one of a kind. Nobody's breaking your spirit. You're looking so fine.
I cut a piece that was large enough to attach to my sign, and then I'm going to start on one edge and just start gluing piece by piece down. I know hot glue will dry or cool off really fast and it won't stick very well to things like paper, so I'm trying to work just a little bit at a time and then fold it back over and attach it, and then I pull back the paper and keep gluing.
So call me out, baby. Together we can go crazy. You and me in the night. I am feeling alright. Now I got you where I want. So call me out, baby. Together we can go crazy. You and me in the night.
I got the back all nice and neat and secured down, and then whenever I flip it over you can see that some of the glue did ooze through those cracks a little bit, so I am trying to sand that down. And then if I just painted this, you would be able to see those big cracks whenever it was completely done, and I wouldn't be happy with it. So I decided I was going to fill those in with some wood filler. I'll try to link some down below, but I really don't have a preference. Just use anything that you have. But I'm using this little scraper and just going to try to push it down into the seams and then scrape it off really evenly.
I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling to you. I'm so gone, I'm so gone, I'm so gone, I'm so gone.
I'm so happy that I actually took the extra time to go ahead and do this because it really did hide all of these big cracks, and I think I like the finished product a lot better. So while I had this out, I went ahead and filled in those little holes that were made from the attaching the jute string hanger on there to make sure that this is just one nice solid flat piece. After I let all my wood filler dry, I took another piece of sandpaper and I'm just smoothing everything down. I didn't worry about this getting perfect because I am going to paint it kind of like barn wood and make it rustic. So like I say, I didn't worry about it being perfect, but I did want it as smooth as possible. So using one of my favorite large brushes, I'll try to link these down below too. And then I had just a tiny bit of this Waverly white chalk paint left, so I just went ahead and poured it out on top of this sign, and then I'm just going to spread it out. But I go ahead and give this a nice solid coat of my white paint.
I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling for you. I'm so gone, I'm so gone, I'm so gone, I'm so gone in you.
Since that was some older paint, a couple of the little dried paint pieces got in there, so I am just sanding over it and then touching up the little places that need retouched. But I did wait for that to completely dry until I was finished. So like I say, I do want to paint this like some barnwood or some white rustic old looking, and I didn't want such small boards, so the lines, there would be a lot of up and down lines. I wanted them to be like wider planks, so I had a bunch of these extra blessed and thankful, and this is something that I still can like break off because the hot glue won't hold this forever and I can repurpose those. But I glued a couple of these together temporarily so I could use them as like my plank boards to trace, and it just makes it so much easier whenever you have something instead of measuring each little board that I can just lay down and trace around. I wanted my in between the boards to be gray because I do want the background of this sign to stay white and gray. I didn't want to add any black on there, so I'm using some of my elephant color chalk paint, which is a dark gray chalk paint in the Waverly paint, and I'm using a tiny little brush to just go along and trace over these pencil marks. Using a larger brush, I just dip it in my elephant color paint, and then I try to empty it out some on a piece of paper so it's not such thick brush strokes. And then I always try to add extra to the edges. I think it makes it look more realistic, and then I'm just going to drag it over the top of this sign. And these will look really dark and dramatic at first, but I will be sanding all of this down. And if you don't want to do so much sanding, you definitely can just add a lighter color that you wouldn't have to lighten up as much. I I love painting the little nail holes at the end to make these look like old palette boards. I used to use palette boards all the time, and I loved leaving on the ends of them where you could see the old nail holes. So that's kind of what I'm trying to recreate here. I know these actually are a lot larger than what I'm used to using, so you definitely can choose to make a little smaller places, but I just really liked them. I thought they turned out really cute. So then I let everything 100% dry to make sure it wouldn't smudge, and then I'm really going to sand a lot of this down because I do want a really light background. There is always so much residue from sanding this chalk paint that I just end up using baby wipes. I think it's the easiest way because I can wipe it down and just throw them away. And then after I get all the dust removed, I'm going to be using one of these felt pumpkins, and I picked this up from Dollar Tree, and I wanted to cut this pumpkin in half so I could put a word in the center. I think it would be beautiful if you wanted to add your last name in there, or you could make it to say anything. You could print anything off of the computer really large, or make something on the Cricut, or if you have a silhouette, and put vinyl stickers in there. But for me, I had recently picked up some beautiful words from Hobby Lobby, and they were really inexpensive. I picked up this welcome sign. It was originally $3.99, but I got this 50% off, I think, so it was just a couple of dollars. So I definitely think it's worth it to go in there and look at all of their words. They have some beautiful pre-cut, laser cut words out right now that are really inexpensive and make these projects look so much nicer put together and like store-bought. So I am going to start by tracing around this pumpkin just with a pencil, so I will be able to see where I need to paint. Before I got started, I tried to make sure everything was spaced out nicely and that everything fit really well. I like this pumpkin, but I didn't want all of that leaf detail at the top, so I do end up flipping the pumpkin over to try to get more of a symmetrical shape. The best thing about working with pencil is that you definitely can just erase it and try to keep fixing it until it's something that you like. I did want the stem to curve that way, so I did have to flip the pumpkin back over and redo the stem. And then you all know I'm obsessed with this color right now. It's this moss color from Waverly Chalk Paints. And I don't get paid by Waverly or Plaid or anybody. I purchase these paints with my money, and I just really enjoy using them and showing you how you can really make nice projects, and this is my favorite paint. So I get asked that a lot too, so I try to address that every once in a while. But I love this moss color. It's like this sage green color, and it's just beautiful, and that's what I am incorporating into all of my fall projects this year. So as you can see, I am just using a nice paintbrush. I picked this up from Walmart in just the value paintbrushes, but these are so nice because they do have like this little slant on the end of the paintbrush, and it just helps me to fill in the lines really nicely. After I had pretty much just filled in all of the lines I had traced out, I'm just going to go back and freehand. I didn't like how the stem looked, so I tried to give it more of a curved shape. And then I thought that the pumpkin was kind of looking like an apple because it got really small at the top, so I wanted to give it more like wider sides, like all the pumpkins that I ever see. So I just, like I say, freehanded it and just made it look more round. I wanted to add some more detail to this pumpkin and give it a little bit of shading by adding some extra color in there. or maybe some shadows. So I wanted to mix some of my elephant color, which is the dark gray, with some of this same green color, and I just think this really elevates any project by adding detail to it, making it look dimensional. I don't know, I'm out of words, but I just really like the look of this, and going around the edges of this, and then trying to do the little middle thing where you make it look like it's round. So I don't know, I just think it looks really good, and it makes it look so much more like a real pumpkin. I really need to stock up on some spray paint because it's way easier to spray paint these words. You don't have to get in all of the little grooves. But I didn't have the color I wanted, so I'm using some of my mineral color chalk paint, and I'm going to paint this. And I just painted this the base color, and then I'm going to dry brush on some of my truffle color, which is the dark brown color. Later I went back in with some white to add a little bit of highlight to it. Nothing fancy, I just added a few of these around the round part of the pumpkin. And then I couldn't stand it. I thought that I would leave the pumpkin like it was, and it just wasn't matching all of everything else that was distressed, so I just took a piece of sandpaper and went over it as well. Then I was laying everything out to see how I liked it. I added the bless sign in the center, and I really love how it looks. I forgot to mention earlier, I did have that welcome sign. I was going back and forth in between which one I wanted. I thought a welcome sign would look really pretty if it was going near the entrance of my home, but this was something that I wanted to put back in the living room, so I really like the blessed word better. I really wanted to keep everything neutral, so I thought that I would make a burlap bow, and I make these super simple bows by just looping over the ribbon at the top and then adding another small piece for the tails. I just tied these together with a piece of jute string, and they are so simple to put together, and they turn out perfect every time. And then I wanted to make it a little bit more decorative, so I did cut a little slant in the tails to make them look really cute. So I had those little leaves at first, and I really liked the burlap leaves. I actually even painted some brown around one, but I just wasn't loving the painted one, so I ended up trading it back. And then I remembered that I had picked these bows up from the Dollar Tree, and I thought it looked really cute. It had color, and I just kept going back and forth between the plain burlap one and this one with the orange glitter, and I did not know which one to use. So I went on Instagram and I put up a poll and showed the first plain pumpkin on there, like a sneak peek, and then this one with the orange glitter, and the plain burlap ribbon one, or plain burlap bow one, by a landslide. So I just went ahead and went back to that one, and I'm really happy that I did. I think it looked way better. So make sure that you do go and follow me on Instagram if you do want to be part of behind the scenes or trying to make decisions, because I am going to start incorporating more of my projects in over there. But let me know in the comments below, do you think that we made the best choice, or do you like the burlap? Well, it's not real burlap, it's kind of like a plasticky feel, but it appears to be burlap ribbon with the orange glittery leaves or pumpkins.
Jump into the car on a Friday night, I wanna drive with you.
So whenever I was finished, I tried to figure it up. I have $4 in my sign and $2 in the word, and then about $1 in my ribbon and leaves. So that is about $7 to make this sign, and obviously I didn't use all of my ribbon. I already had those leaves for another project, so I didn't even really count those. But $7 to make such a large, beautiful sign that I absolutely love it. So I'd love to know your comments or opinions down in the comments below, because I love it. I think it looks even more beautiful hanging up on the wall, and I just think it looks really pretty. So I'd love your opinion down below. And if you made one of these, what color would you have painted your pumpkin? Thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun showing you this project. I think it turned out really good. Kind of like what I expected, and that doesn't always happen. Sometimes things go bad wrong and I have to try to fix it different. But I was so excited with how this turned out. I think it looks really pretty. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed so you never miss an upload, and I'll see you next time. Bye!